Hi, Zizaran here with another league starter for the 324 Necropolis League, and this is Explosive Trap. This is a really good bosser. It is also a very not button intensive build. Even for bossing and mapping, you're basically running around right clicking. You will have some different abilities for bossing. So you can see here in the background, it's pretty smooth, just running around with one button. Once you come up against a boss, you will have to use Assassin's Mark, and this stays on one target permanently, so you don't have to recast the Assassin's Mark. Other than that, LA Weakness and then Bear Trap for additional single target damage, and you're back to spamming Explosive Trap. So a very easy build to play there. It is a trickster, very tanky, extremely good for destroying bosses. We had so much positive feedback from people that were new to bossing, and they were just absolutely annihilating bosses. This is quite tanky, quite good single target, and a really fun starter that'll really get you up to speed on your economy early in the league. We're starting out with Stormblast Mine and Orb of Storms. If you don't know how this works, you want to stand inside the Orb of Storms and use Stormblast Mine, and that'll cause, when you're detonating the Stormblast Mine, that'll make Orb of Storms just do loads of damage. And then at level 12 you can switch to Lightning Trap and you still have Orb of Storms there. And yeah, quite easy to follow what gems you're going to have at different sections here. Then at level 38 we have Lightning Trap and Lightning Spire Trap, and then at maps we have switched to Explosive Trap, and you do not need any Transfigure gem for this build. If this build guide helps you have a great league start, please consider subscribing. It helps me and my team out a lot. So, as normal, we are using Path of Building. If you're unfamiliar with Path of Building, we do have a video that explains how that works. You can see here that we have our normal step-by-step, and you can see that Ascendancy nodes are included here with the normal, Cruel, and Merklab. And then later in the map section, the Uberlab. Quite easy to follow. You'll never get lost on where you should have points at what point. Here in items, you can see in the early game, and this is what I love doing for the league starters, we have super easy to follow gear. It is super basic, just life and resists, etc. No uniques. There's nothing that you really need to drop for this build that makes like that insane of an impact. So very good for a league starter, very good for solo self-on, very easy to follow. In the mid game, we have a Lightning Coil. This is super farmable. It seems like Lightning Coil, the div cards, drops in definitely Cemetery and Lee Line, but I think it's just any map that's open where a Lightning Coil would work, you know, like lightning could hit trees and stuff. That seems to be what they're going for. So it's like definitely Cemetery is where I usually farm them. And here you can see you would quite like a Secret of Suffering alternating Sceptre. They're quite rare from Heist, but throwing in some Heist and running the blueprints there would be a great thing to find for your build, and getting at least a +1 physical spell skill gem Sceptre is quite okay. And later on, even making a +2 is fairly deterministic. How do we make a +2 Sceptre deterministically? So obviously this is fairly expensive and very endgame, but I did want to just show in Craft of Exile since it's such a good website anyway. So you start off by alteration crafting for +1 spell skills. This can take quite a while, and doing a Bestiary Imprint using a Crake Chimeral can be good at this point. And then we use a Regal, and then we annul it. Now if this happens, you imprint back and do it again. We're very sad, but we did get it on the third try. At this point, we go to the suffix crafts, we do multi-mod, cannot roll attack mods, and prefixes cannot be changed. We now farm up a bunch of, I believe it's yellow juice, and do add, remove, physical. This is now guaranteed to be physical spell skill gems, and this is in the notes as well. And now, let's see, I think we just need prefixes cannot be changed now. Now that you have prefixes cannot be changed on those, you can either do Reforge Critical. This is the cheaper one. Now, obviously, this has the risks of adding things. However, you can also do Add, Remove Critical, the more expensive option. You can either hit crit multi spells, or the more bricked mod, which is just flat crit chance to attacks like this, which doesn't really do anything for us. But we do have other options here with Redemption, Exalted Orb, etc. And all of this is listed in the nodes. The notes. I just wanted to show you how you get a guaranteed +2 Sceptre. Other than that, a lot of the other gear is fairly straightforward, even in the end game. And obviously we do want things like Taste of Hate and Lightning Coil, because we do not have a lot of physical damage taken as elemental without it. And that would put us in a bit of a hole on physical damage mitigation. But as you can see now, we have pretty good effective hit pool and mitigation. It's a fairly tanky character. And we have a decent amount of energy shield, which we're getting back from Ghost Dance, and we have 6.2k life. So very tanky bosser with very high damage. You can see here, even without crazy awaken gems or anything, we have 7.6 million hit DPS. And this is a build that we've gotten a lot of positive feedback on before. Very cool build. Another thing that could be good for this build is Leadership's price, and that is because of the rarity of an alternating Sceptre. They can be quite hard to get a hand of. However, Leadership's price comes from the unique contract of the Twins, and if you're lucky with rolls, it could actually give you +3 max fire, cold, and lightning res. But either way, just hope to get good rolls. If it is -333, don't use it. That's not worth it, obviously. But yeah, this would give you the same thing as an alternating Sceptre, and then you could have another just basic good Sceptre, like a Void Sceptre with some good stats on it. We do have loads of things in the notes, some upsides and downsides too, like a mana flask early is a bit of a pain, and mana in general this patch has been made a lot harder. But yeah, loads of things in the notes, so if you are running into any issues, this should answer everything for you. And yeah, if anyone played it previously from my last guide and have some additional tips and tricks, feel free to mention that in the comments. This is something we just got so much positive feedback on, and I thought it would be a great thing to add as a league starter since it didn't get nerfed. But we do always like to make sure to re-record every guide to make sure we haven't missed anything and everything is up to date for the current patch. So when we go from the mid game to the end game, we're going to be dropping one step ahead and grabbing Spellbreaker, which is so nice for suppression and it's just really strong. And we will be getting action speed on boots, putting us at 105. And we will want to do the switch once we have freeze immunity from the Brine King Pantheon. Early on in this build, you are going to need a mana flask. Later on, we can get minus mana cost on rings and amulet, so you really want to do a lot of betrayal. Now, what is really good to do here is to reset the foothills when you're below level 72. And when you're resetting, you're just looking for the quest text in the right side of the screen, and you might have seen a lot of streamers doing that. I'm wondering, why are they resetting foothills over and over again? We're just resetting until we see the betrayal has spawned. There's obviously one of the spawns you can't see on the quest text, so you're basically looking for, I think it's transport or research, something like that. And once you get one of those, you just go kill that and you hope that you find Alvreon. Now it can take some time, but it's a great way to gear early, and you'll see a lot of streamers doing that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helps you have a great league start. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.